special edition of WeatherScope with the latest winter storm update.
Good Monday morning, everyone. It's the 8th day of January, 1996. I'm Bruce Edwards as we continue to track the blizzard of 96, which has raked up and down the eastern seaboard, is now wreaking havoc across the southern New England states, and it's not done yet. It'll be another 12 to 24 hours before we're going to be done with this storm system itself. It began, and it's really affected a good chunk of the country. Matter of fact, we added a new category to our snow history map, and that category is 2 feet or more, and that's what you can see in the shade of purple. 2 feet or more of snow over portions of the Northeast already, and then back through the Appalachians. Again, this has been a tremendous amount of storm. How much snow? Well, let's get specific now. And as we check snowfall totals so far, we have the situation showing Philadelphia. We have reports of 30 inches of snow, 28 so far in Newark, New Jersey. Still coming down in Newark, matter of fact, at a moderate clip at the present time. New York City, LaGuardia, and Roanoke, Virginia, 22 inches, 23 in D.C. Providence so far 14, Boston so far 9. But it's really the heavy stuff hasn't gotten there yet. Now, the record 24-hour snowfall was obliterated in Philadelphia with 29.5 inches. Roanoke, Virginia, my old stomping grounds, got over 22 inches for a new record. Lynchburg, Virginia, across the ridge, 20 inches, and the Queen City of Cincinnati hit just about 13 inches of snowfall. We look at the airports, and if you're thinking about flying in or out of the Northeast, I suggest you forget about it, or perhaps look for a late flight today or perhaps tomorrow, because the airports are closed, and many will reevaluate and reassess the situation around noon today, but they're saying not looking very good for any kind of flights in or out of the northeastern United States. Standing by in the heart of it all, so to speak, New York City, is Jill Brown of the Weather Channel. She's been there through the beginnings of this storm, the brunt of it, and now things seem to be tapering down a little bit, Jill.
Good morning, Bruce. Yes, things are fairly quiet this morning on the upper west side here, just off Central Park. We actually have Central Park West behind me. If you can see, not too much activity on a Monday morning in Manhattan. That's pretty unusual, I would say. We do see a fair number of people milling about, but what's amazing is that they are walking down Central Park West. Just about everyone on foot. There's a couple people we've seen on cross-country skis, but not too many people in their cars. We haven't even seen any cabs go by this morning, but Mark asked me earlier if we'd seen the snow plows. I think they were out and busy. They did just come by here, and I'll tell you, if you left your car on any of these roadways here in Manhattan, they're buried about up to the roofs. Not so much from just the snow's fallen, but because those plows have just brought it up. I don't think we're going to see some of them until springtime.
Well, Jill, I tell you, we have the wind, we have the snow that's been piling up, making travel, again, extremely hazardous. And, of course, they're recommending everyone just keep it at the home, let the emergency crews get on out there. But one other problem with this storm, potentially, is flooding for coastal residents.
That's right. We do still have some heavy snow and strong winds in some areas, which is going to make it difficult, especially because they have people kind of standing by with the potential of evacuations, not because of the snow, but because of the flooding. I think they are prepared. They have some four-wheel drive vehicles ready to pull people out if necessary. The centers for evacuation are prepared for people. They didn't have to do that last night, but this morning's high tide could be worse, and that's coming up very quickly here from about 9:30 until just after noon today. And so we're kind of watching the coastline, and that's probably the immediate concern right now, as most people are off the roadways, and that's going to allow the crews to clean things up. The flooding could be a different story.
Well, Jill, it looks like the north shore of Long Island may be the one hardest hit with the potential flooding because strong northerly winds all through New England this morning. Well, thank you very much for your report. We'll check back with you a little bit later on this morning. Try to stay warm and out of the heavy stuff. We take a look at more concerning the blizzard 96. Where is that storm right now? Well, as we see on the current situation, the low pressure area continues to work up the Jersey Shore right now, bringing with it the strong north to northeasterly breezes. I say breezes, and that's putting it mild. A wind gust 30 to 40 miles per hour or greater across the region, and it continues to churn its way off towards the northeast. We take a look at the radar out of the region. We see a little slot of, well, not necessarily dry air, but we see a little slot of somewhat lighter amounts of snow. You can see the hole, so to speak, right in through here around New York and much of New Jersey, although as you get into northern New Jersey around the area of Morristown and over towards Teterboro, they were reporting some heavy snow during the last hour. Right now, the heaviest of the snowfall being indicated is across southern portions of Connecticut. That's where we've been seeing some moderate to occasionally heavy snow from Groton to Bridgeport, New Haven, over to Danbury, and even on up towards Newburgh and White Plains. Some moderate snowfall is being reported. And as you can see, the circulation of all this snowfall, the radar echoes circulating around the low, and once again heading in that clockwise direction. We take a look at now the snowfall forecast for the next 24 hours. You see the shade of white from down East Maine through western Massachusetts and into eastern half of Connecticut. That's where we're forecasting a foot or more of snow. Another 3 to 6 inches or better across a good chunk of New York, southern New York State, and on into northern portions of New Jersey. The coastal flood warnings, you mentioned the potential for coastal flooding. The warnings have been posted now from Merrimack River, Massachusetts, down to Fenwick Island, Delaware. And again, most of the winds so far during the last hour's observation have been coming out of the north. So that would mean the north shores of Long Island Sound may be the ones most severely affected by potential floodwaters at the times of high tide this morning. The gale warnings are extended from Fenwick Island southbound to Little River Inlet in South Carolina, also from Savannah down to Cape Canaveral, and then along the Gulf Coast. Strong north to northwesterly winds have caused gale warnings around Apalachicola and westbound, and north of the Merrimack River through the coast of Maine. So far, storm warnings have been posted. Depending upon the track and the intensity of the storm, that may be expanded a little farther towards the north. This storm system, we've been tracking it as it came through the southern plain states and worked into the Appalachians, and yesterday's when things really got cooking. And it started in the nation's capital, where the Weather Channel crews filmed these scenes along the Mall in Washington, D.C. Road crews try to keep up with the heavy snowfall, and some folks just took a walk, and that was the best way to get out and about. Mostly emergency vehicles, all you'd find on the roadways, or a few hardy souls with four-wheel drive vehicles. Newark Airport, just across the Hudson from New York City, it's been typical. That airport is closed and is going to remain closed until at least 6 o'clock this evening. And also, we just got a report the Washington National Airport is also closed. And again, they were trying to de-ice the planes yesterday, but they're having very little success. Out on Long Island at Amityville, you can see how traffic was snarled on the Long Island Expressway and the other roadways. This was yesterday, and the snows have been coming fast and furious overnight, with winds gusting 30 to 40 miles an hour, blowing and drifting the snow. And once again, a state of emergency exists. Keep it in the garage. In Bourne, Massachusetts, this is what the blizzard looked like yesterday, and really the worst probably is yet to come this morning as the low approaches from the south. But blowing and drifting snow will continue to affect that region of the Cape until, well, at least the next 24 hours or so. So that's how things are shaping up right now. We'll continue with our updates all throughout the morning, and including live reports from New York City. But right now, let's find out the particulars about the storm and where it may be heading and what's heading in your backyard. With all the details in the studio, here's Vivian Brown.
Well, thanks, Bruce. There's a storm. It is centered just off the coast of New Jersey, continuing to bring in moisture from the Atlantic. The air is cold enough, so widespread heavy snows expected. Still more heavy snows now to come from the New York City area right on through Hartford and even Boston. An additional 6 to 12 inches are possible around the Boston area. We'll certainly keep you posted. You can see our snow history, which already shows the heaviest of the heavy has been primarily back here in the mountains. The heaviest we could find, nearly 40 inches of snow in the mountains here of West Virginia and the western mountains of the state of Virginia. But we've had record 24-hour snowfall total so far. Around Philadelphia, some 30 inches have already fallen. An additional 1 to 3 inches are possible in Philly as conditions will start to improve as the area of low pressure moves northward, but deteriorating conditions again for eastern and central Massachusetts, including Boston and even around Hartford, Connecticut. So get ready. You'll be in the brunt of the heaviest snows as we go through the next 24 hours as the area of low pressure moves off to the northeast. Of course, we'll keep you posted on this storm and the rest of the weather scene in just a moment.
At Penn Station, what can you tell us about Amtrak delays?
Okay, people do seem to be heeding the warnings. I talked to a couple of people, and most of them are out here because they have to be. One man is an elevator operator. He's a repair elevator operator, and he's out here for emergency reasons. And as far as Amtrak is concerned, they're saying they are operating, but just like the pavement, the rails are covered with snow. So you have to expect many, many delays.
All right, Rahima, thanks so very much. All right, we're moving up on 812 on this Monday morning, about 20 feet below me, right at the bottom of this snowdrift.
That's right. I'm not climbing up that mountain. Thanks, Brian. Let's go check in now with Luann Kahn in Philadelphia and see what the situation is there. Hi, Luann.
Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
Well, cold and snowy. How's it going out there?
Well,
We can't believe this. We've got 30 inches of snow here. Let me just try to demonstrate for you. I mean, we get snow here, but we don't get snow like this. I mean, this, you can have a nice little workout if you walk around in this for a while. The last record we had was in 1983, 21 inches, so we have well surpassed that. Some of our crew was telling us they had so much trouble getting out of their house, they couldn't even go out the front door. They had to crawl out their windows. So we have never, ever seen this much snow here before, and we may be getting more, possibly tomorrow night, possibly lots more by the weekend, so we're in serious trouble here. Our airport has been closed since yesterday. They are reevaluating the situation in a couple of hours to see if they can get any flights off. All of our roads, our major roads, are closed by order of the governors here in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. It would seem, Luann, that it is wishful thinking at best that any airports or roadways would be reopening in your area or ours. Are people heeding the warnings in Philadelphia to stay off the streets and stay inside? Well, yes, they are for the most part. Now, we have a hospital right down the street, and those are the people who are supposed to be out on the road. Emergency crews, hospital personnel. We've got people out in four-wheel drive trying to help them get to work, but nobody else is supposed to be on the roads right now. All right, for the most part, they've been heeding that. Thanks, Luann. As we've been telling you, the storm is moving its way up the East Coast. Boston is going to get it really badly if it hasn't already later on today. Mike Macklin with our affiliate WHCH is live up in Boston this morning. Hello, Mike.
Good morning, Elizabeth. The snow is beginning to let up just a tad, and the wind has died down, so it actually is quite pleasant here compared with what it was like about an hour ago. But we already have 10 inches of snow on the ground in Boston, and there's that wind picking up again. And we're expecting a good 18 inches. This is the scene here in Copley Square as the main drag is pretty well cleared, but other than taxi cabs and a few pedestrians, it's pretty quiet. Most people here have heeded the warnings and have stayed home. There you see a big front-end loader trying to clear this major intersection in downtown Boston. We've had a couple of big storms before today. We had a couple of feet of snow on the ground already, and as I say, 10 inches have fallen this morning, and more is on the way. So Boston's pretty well socked in. Mike, are you finding places to put the new snow? You guys were already socked in and had to shovel the streets as it was just a few days ago. We had a big storm the week before Christmas. Then we had the New Year's nor'easter just a couple of days after the New Year. So we had about 26, 27 inches of snow on the ground as it was. Then 10 new inches have fallen today, and we're expecting we could get perhaps as much as 15 to 18 inches in the city of Boston. And further south of Boston, it's even worse. Down around New Bedford and out toward Cape Cod, they already have 18 inches of snow on the ground. They're expected to have over 2 feet before it finally stops. Wow. All right, Mike Macklin, thanks so much for joining us from Boston this morning. Now let's head down to the nation's capital where Bob Hager is standing by. Bob, you've been using my mouth is frozen now, I can barely speak. You've been using your yardstick all morning to show us how deep the snow is getting there. Is it getting any worse? Are you guys holding off now?
Well, you know, they've been telling us for hours that this snow was letting up here. I mean, I heard it late last night, and it's still coming. So we've got a little bit better than 1.5 feet here, 2 feet out in the suburbs. Pennsylvania Avenue here is just deserted. I will say one thing. This is nice, fluffy snow. So it'll come off the roads, the main roads, easily. Good thing people aren't working today, because I suppose they will get it back in shape by tomorrow. But coming in, I saw city buses stranded. There were several hundred passengers stranded overnight on the metro system. They've been rescued now. There was a roof caved in on a nursing home, but I understand there that nobody's injured. So things are under control. Oh, yes, I'll show you a nice picture we have of the White House this morning. The White House in the snow. Yesterday, the president's rivals, Senator Dole and Phil Gramm, were both snowbound here. They had to miss a campaign appearance in New Hampshire. So, as I say, they say sometime this is going to end here, but still it keeps coming. The irony, of course, Bob, was that the nation's capital was supposed to reopen today after 3 weeks of partial shutdown, so I guess it'll have to wait yet another day. Thanks very much for joining us this morning again with that update. Let's head now to Kennedy Airport, where John Frankel is standing by. John, there have been thousands of travelers stranded because of this storm. How are they biding the time there?
Well, the airport has provided coffee and blankets and some form of entertainment for those passengers that are here. We're told that there are about 1,000 passengers scattered among the 7 different terminals here at JFK Airport. They are now reporting accumulations of just over 17 inches, and they actually have designs in trying to get 2 of the 4 runways open here sometime later on today. Those are the 2 runways that run northwest, because that's where they're predicting the winds will settle and allow them to open those up. Now, once they do, it's sort of a first-come, first-served basis in terms of getting planes in and out of here. A lot of it depends on which airlines already had aircraft in here, which were able to get airlines in yesterday afternoon before the storm really hit. So in terms of international flights or domestic flights or which airline, it's basically first-come, first-served as they get the runways open. But of course, even if they do, a lot of it depends on visibility, and the individual airlines will make up their decision on that.
John, several other airports are saying it's a wait-and-see sort of thing. They're sort of optimistically saying we'll shovel the runways and see if maybe later today we can get some flights in or out. Is Kennedy even making that kind of a promise, or are they just saying, you know what, guys, we're going to stay closed?
No, Kennedy is saying we're going to try and get these 2 runways open, and we're going to try and get the whole airport moving.
All right. Thanks very much, John Frankel, for joining us live from Kennedy Airport with that update. It is now 8:17. This is our coverage of the blizzard of 1996. We'll be right back.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, as you probably know, the city of Hoboken has closed the city down for any incoming traffic. Have you considered anything like this?
No, we've been very proud of the fact that our main arteries are really open, and interesting enough, we see more people walking the main arteries to get to work today. They're coming to City Hall, and so we're keeping our roads open now. We are still at Transportation Center. With the airport being shut down, we also have to have our arteries open for those who are staying overnight at the hotels around the airport and in the city of Newark. So our real responsibility is going to be to keep the main arteries open here in New Jersey's largest city.
And how are you doing on that effort? I mean, are the roads open, or are you still heavy-duty plowing?
We're very pleased with that operation. We have salt spreaders to put the salt down to keep the base where we can move it. We have plows then pushing it, and then we have buckets, loaders going through to pick it up. One of the real newness to all of this snow removal operation is where do you put the snow once you pick it up. So
good point.
It's becoming new challenges every time we have a record snowfall.
Nothing to laugh about today, right, Mr. Mayor? Question is, where are you putting that snow?
Well, we're looking over towards New York and the Hudson River, but we won't say that right now.
All right. Thank you so much, Sharp James, Mayor of Newark, and we may be checking back with you later to see how you're doing. Record snowfall, 27 inches, and that was much earlier today, so I'm sure that the record has been broken again. Absolutely, and we're going to have a lot more of our team coverage coming up.
Of the nor'easter from hitting us the way it has in the past. So we're lucky.
All right. Yeah, we are lucky that there was no major damage here, as you can see, because the snow is lightened up. It doesn't appear to be snowing at all. A lot of people are now coming out, a lot of curiosity seekers. We also have, if we can just look back to the street here, a lot of the emergency equipment that has been working through most of the night has come back out, and this indicates that maybe they're not needed elsewhere. As we may recall, several hundred people were evacuated up and down the coast. Belmar, Bradley Beach, Manasquan, those people were being moved because there was fear of flooding. Again, the flood watch remains in effect for most of this morning, but the real danger, high tide, has passed. And it appears some of this, heavy winds appear to be subsiding. Back to you.
Okay, flooding remains a big concern in New Jersey, where Sue Canaan is, and really up and down. We heard those concerns echoed in Connecticut as well.
And Long Island.
Yes. Another big concern in New Jersey, some medical centers are having trouble getting their staff into the hospital. A lot of the people who are working in hospitals, in New Jersey and elsewhere have been on round the clock now. And so in New Jersey, they're asking anybody who has a four-wheel drive to pitch in and help get staff to the hospitals. Those numbers that you can call to volunteer, 201, you can see them on the screen right now, 201-982-5800 or 5801. Anybody with a four-wheel drive would like to pitch in and help get medical workers to the hospital would certainly be appreciated.
Boy, they sure would. Now, of course, we told you a little earlier about another problem we had, which was a roof collapsed on a TJ Maxx store in Edison, New Jersey. Al Roker, I've got to assume that with that snow piling up, we could have this problem all over the metropolitan area.
Well, we don't want to scare people, obviously, Jane, but the problem is not just this snow, but the last snow we had was more of an icy mix. And so what that has done, that has sat there, That is that snowfall and ice mixture, very heavy. You add 10, 15, 20 inches of snow on top of basically flat-based roofs. We're talking about malls. We're talking about schools, movie theaters, places that have broad expanses of a flat roof. And you know the type of store we're talking about, or the top of building. Now, if you've got a slanted roof, that's probably not so bad. But a lot of maintenance folks might want to think about getting out and getting on the roofs of their respective buildings and shoveling that stuff off, because that is just going to sit there. It's going to start to settle. We may have a little more snow again on Tuesday, and then maybe a lot more snow again on Friday, and we could be looking at potentially some very, very dangerous situations as far as structural damage is concerned. And here's what we're watching. The storm system now pulling away ever so slowly off the New Jersey shoreline. We had told you about that little hole, that little donut, and you can see it moving to the east as the low-pressure system pulls away. As it does, you can see the donut move away, the snow now starting to move back in again, the areas that weren't getting snow, and you can see the rotation around the system, the northeasterly flow coming in off the ocean, moisture from the ocean being pulled in, and with that cold air wrapping around, we're getting quite a bit of snow. Now, as we put storm track into effect, you can see also that what we're looking at is quite a bit of snow trying to work its way in. We got the latest models in, and we're expecting generally across the area about another 2 to 4 inches of snow here in central New Jersey, New York City, lower Rockland and Westchester counties, Long Island, and coastal Connecticut. But as you go a little further to the south, they'll be picking up maybe another 1 to 3 inches. We're still working on the northern suburbs. We'll have that for you in our next broadcast for you. 17 inches Port Jervis, as you heard earlier, 27 in Newark, 17 JFK, Central Park 17 inches, 13 in Bridgeport, Bayshore reporting 29 inches of snow. This is our latest as far as what we see the total accumulations. North of the city, way north, up into the lower Hudson Valley, where normally they get more, we're talking about total 10 to 18 inches. Around the entire general area, 18 to 24 inches, but some, and there will be pockets, obviously, of a little less or a little more, but a swath coming from central Pennsylvania on through central and northern New Jersey, about 24 to 34 inches of snow, could be a little bit more. The other problem, as Sue Keenan was talking about, flooding, high tide starting to kick in. 11:13 a.m. at Seabright, already passed at Manasquan, New Jersey. Freeport already passed. 12:40 Oyster Bay, Bridgeport, 12:33 along the Hudson River in Ossining, 12:25 a.m. So we're keeping an eye on that. Flooding again, the problem. So the National Weather Service has still kept up blizzard warnings for the entire tri-state area and coastal flood warnings for the entire tri-state coastal area as well. We're going to continue to track it. We're going to update the latest snowfall amounts for you. We'll have the 10 o'clock temperature readings, wind chills, and what we see as far as much more accumulation, how much more accumulation we can expect over the next few hours. Mary and Jane?
Gee, false alarm, that tiny bit of sunshine we saw out in Long Island. Good day to stay inside. Yeah. Not a good day to be out on the roads, Nancy.
As a matter of fact, most everything is shut down. The major airports are closed, and of course mass transit is more than just a little hampered by this blizzard, so there goes our normal alternate to storm travel. We have the situation over on the LIRR with very limited modified weekend service, they call it, over on the Port Jefferson, Ronkonkoma, and Babylon branches. Everything else suspended. Number 7 train service suspended end-to-end, same with the L trains, and M train service out as well from Metropolitan Avenue to Broadway Myrtle Avenue. We also have New Jersey Transit trains in Metro North, again on a modified schedule, up to 60-minute delays, in fact, on New Jersey Transit trains, and the transit buses in New Jersey are not running at all statewide. On the roadways in New Jersey, we turn our attention to what police are saying. Most of the interstate highways are virtually impassable, including the Palisades Parkway, Route 80. New Jersey Turnpike is now officially closed to all non-essential vehicles. Only police, fire department, EMS, and hospital workers are actually allowed on the New Jersey Turnpike, and interestingly enough, they'll actually turn you away at the toll plazas if you don't fit that description. Upper deck of the Verrazano Bridge remains closed down. It's a tough one. Stay put. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, good idea. Thank you, Nancy. We're going to go back out to Long Island and Hicksville, and Carolyn Gussoff, who's at the train station there, just kind of passing the time away.
Just passing the time away. Mary and Jane, I have to tell you that it is not all doom and gloom today. We have a little romance to brighten up this snowbound day. We're here at the Hicksville train station, and we just ran into Chris, who is a transit cop, on your way into the city, and you say you have something very special to say to your girlfriend. What is this all about?
Well, I've been with her a while, and I'm interested in asking her if she'd be my wife.
Are you proposing?
Yeah, I'm going to propose, so I got a little something I wrote down.
This is a formal proposal right now.
This is legit. This is all...
What's her name?
Her name is Tammy. She lives in Bethpage.
Tammy from Bethpage, what do you have to say? What did you write here?
All right. From the first time I saw you, my heart was yours. Maybe it's the way your smile lights up a room, or maybe it's your cute laugh or your beautiful brown eyes. Maybe it's just everything about you, from your head to your toes. It makes you wonder how life would be as you as my wife. So how about it, Kitty? Will you marry me?
Oh, I'm going to cry. That's so nice. Tammy from Bethpage, right. I hope the answer is yes. That's very nice, very thoughtful, a very memorable proposal. And I hope for both of your sake that you live happily ever after, and that you get out of this cold.
A lot of warmth she'll bring me, hopefully.
I hope so. Have you thought about this being the way you were going to propose?
Actually, not really. I happened to see on the news, and I was coming over to get coffee in the newspaper, and so I figured, you know, why not?
Where's Tammy today?
She's home. She's probably shoveling out her car right now.
So she might have missed this?
I have somebody's taping it for me, so she'll get it.
Okay. Any life plans with you and Tammy?
Not right now. Right now, just hopefully we stay, you know, really good together and everything goes well.
Chris, you forgot to get down on your knees.
Oh. It's too cold to get on my knees. Look at the snow. Actually, for Tammy, I'll do it. There you go, Tammy. I'm on my knees. How about it, cutie?
How about it, Tammy? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chris. Good luck.
Carolyn, we need Tammy's last name. We're going to get her on the telephone.
What's Tammy's last name?
Musmacher.
Musmacher. Tammy Musmacher from Bethpage. You got to say yes.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Get her telephone number. We've got to get this woman on the phone.
Well, I'm not going to give it out on the air.
No, you should. Give us a call.
Okay, we'll do. Back to you.
Ask what the temperature was when he first met her.
Chris, come back for a second. How'd you guys meet? When was it cold, summer or winter?
Actually, we met in a club called Summertimes.
Oh, it had to be pretty hot.
How appropriate. How long have you guys been dating?
On and off about 6 or 7 months. And I've known her for a while before that, so.
Okay, you're not jumping into anything because of the romance of the moment.
No.
Okay, let's hope not. Thanks, Chris. Good luck. Back to you guys.
What a blizzard can do, right,
Isn't
Carolyn?
It nice? It's not all bad.
Yeah. All right, so Tammy, was it Tammy Musbacher? Muskman.
Macker.
She'll know who she is.
Tammy,
she knows who she is.
We are looking to hear from you in Bethpage. We want to know what the answer is. Perhaps we can help promote a little romance, love, marriage, etc.
in this otherwise cold and blustery day.
And Chris is heading into his job as a transit police officer.
That's right.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Carolyn. You've been pulling heavy duty this morning.
What else is there to do here, you know? So we might as well.
Okay.
Well, once again, we have been keeping you up to date on this blizzard of 96, all of the record snowfalls that have been recorded around the metro area. We're telling you about the emergency situations. And
schools are closed just about everywhere. For a while earlier this morning, they were saying City College sounded like the only one that was open. Now it's closed in because, of course, the subway, the elevated trains are having a very difficult time, so I'm sure that's part of that picture. No postal service.
Exactly. But the only thing we know of that is actually going to open up is the New York Stock Exchange. They said they're going on. They're going to go online at 10:30, which is, of course, an hour delay. But once we get to 10:30, we'll see what happens. At any rate, we will be back here in a couple of minutes.
First time I saw you, my heart was yours. Maybe it's the way your smile lights up a room, or maybe it's your cute laugh or your beautiful brown eyes. Maybe it's just everything about you, from your head to your toes. It makes you wonder how life would be as you as my wife. So how about it, Kitty? Will you marry me?
Oh, I'm going to cry. That's so nice. Tammy from Bethpage. Right. I hope the answer is yes. That's very nice, very thoughtful, a very memorable proposal. And I hope for both of your sake that you live happily ever after, and that you get out of this cold.
A lot of warmth she'll bring me, hopefully.
Well, I hope so.
Guess what? We have Tammy Musmacher from Bethpage on the telephone with us right now, and I think we have Carolyn and Chris back out at the railroad station. So, Tammy, can you hear us? Hello, Tammy?
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm
Are you awake? Did you see that,
I'm
Tammy?
Awake.
Okay, now, we've got Chris at the other end of this line here, so what's the answer?
So, Tammy,
we're all waiting.
New York is waiting for your answer. Your boyfriend just popped the question on TV. What do you have to say?
Oh, God, I don't know. I don't know.
No. You don't know?
No, I don't know.
She doesn't know. Chris, she doesn't know.
Come on, Tammy.
Tammy, come on.
All New York's listening.
Tammy, you don't know?
I'll discuss it with him later.
Oh. Okay, it's okay. We discussed this earlier, what would happen, and what was your answer if she wasn't quite sure.
Well, you said you'd marry me.
Don't tell my husband that. No, Chris, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. You said that maybe someone else watching would be interested.
Interested.
No. She must be shocked. It's cold. It's a lot of snow.
spook surprise. She just woke up.
Maybe
so
we
see
have
what
a little
happens.
moment of suspense while you think about it, right, Tammy?
Yes.
Okay.
Tammy, were you a little surprised when we called you?
Yes.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What's the weather like there in Bethpage at this moment? Have you been outside yet?
No, I only woke up a little while ago.
I think poor Tammy just got out. She doesn't know what's hit her.
She's just trying to open up her eyes.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll bring you a very romantic end to this story. Thank you so much, Tammy, for being a good sport.
And he seems like a very nice young man to me.
Chris, you are wonderful. We really, we're very